Call the Organizational Services and Performance Monitoring Committee to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Good morning. Ms. Pachetti?
Here.
Ms. Welch?
Here.
Mayor Gallo?
Here.
Ms. McPherson?
Here.
Mr. Sleesman?
Here.
You have all 5 committee members here. You have a quorum.
Terrific, thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with the quarterly management report.
Before I start, if I may, with the okay of the president, I just wanted to say good morning to everyone. We have a few different players in different seats this morning, so I just wanted to give a quick orientation, if I can, to the board meeting today. That is not Teresa Barrage in the seat over there. Lovely though you are, Raj. That is our Deputy General Manager for Finance and Board Secretary Treasurer, Raj Gotham. He will be standing in today to be able to handle the process for, as MC, I guess you want to say, for the master of ceremonies for the board meeting today.
Radio show.
There you we appreciate it. Sophia's out sick, and Teresa has gone on to new adventures. So, Raj, you are the man with plan this morning. And right next to Raj, that is not Sophia. That is our newest addition to the team, Avis Lyons. So we appreciate Avis. Good morning. Thank you. She will be serving as the interim board assistant to be able to take us through the executive process. And this is her first meeting, so she will be following through as Raj goes and takes us through the meeting. So good morning, Avis. Has a plethora of information and knowledge base in doing this position. We're excited to have her to the team and to be able to learn alongside of Deb Shaw, who is right next to her. Just so you're aware, Deb works in the finance division alongside Raj in the administration department, doing all things executive for the finance. So you were in good hands this morning. I also wanted to make sure that is not Janet Burney. That is Keith Ganther. Keith is a senior legal counsel reporting directly into Janet. Janet is taking a first travel experience for RTA in 12 years, so we appreciate her doing that for the legal division at a conference with a bunch of attorneys out on the West Coast. She did mention that it is 5:52, or actually 6 o'clock a.m., and she's available as needed, so she's on standby as well. And right next to Keith, we have Sheila DeGraffenreid, and so she is also part of the team of the legal department. They're here to make sure that we get through the meeting without a hiccup. And I'm looking around the room. I think everybody else is who they should be. We have a couple of guests today that you'll hear in a few minutes, and with that, I'll move forward to the presentation.
Madam Chairperson, since we were on that note, Mr. President, Chairperson, a couple weeks ago I got a call that Teresa was moving to another position, and she had done such an excellent job for us. Naturally, there was moments of, oh my, and then you always wonder, well, who will be coming after? And I then learned that Avis Lyons was coming. And I want you to know that I've known her for some time. She's an excellent person. She's worked as a confidential secretary to several prominent lawyers in this town. I've seen her put together banquets. I've seen her put together confidential meetings with the governor and so forth. And when I heard that she was coming, I was so excited. You will get the best from her, and I'm just so delighted to welcome her to our board, dear Avis. That's the end of my speech.
Hey. Thank you, Reverend Lucas. You always have the best accommodations and accolades that I think I've heard so far, so we appreciate you, and we concur with your assessment of Ms. Lyons. All right, we've got a lot on the agenda today, and so I will be as quick as I can without skipping too much to go through the fourth quarter 2024 report, otherwise known as a QMR, the Quarterly Management Report. So for those of you at the dais, you should have a few copies in front of you. And this is an overview, if you recall. Do this every quarter. We also will be bringing to you a lot of different reports this morning. So there's a lot of information coming at you in a short period of time. This is meant to be an overview only. So total revenues are nearly 3% higher than budget for the fourth quarter of 2024, with passenger fares moving up as we increase with ridership. We actually were in a recent media article, which actually tracked the increase in ridership post-COVID with our partners throughout the country. And we are on a steady upswing. It's a slow but steady uptick, but that's something that we actually prefer to an erratic change, because usually that signals either an event or something that might have been a one-off. But having the slow and steady wins the race is usually the approach that's the most stable. And that's what we are experiencing here in Cleveland. Sales and use tax was, however, nearly 1.5% lower, and the reimbursed expenditures, which I will ask Raj to go into in his Secretary Treasurer report, are significantly higher, and that's due to fueling and labor and other miscellaneous receipts. We do have some adjustments to our service, which usually are indicated through that reimbursed expenditures, especially as we always mention, paratransit leads the day as far as those individuals on the operating side, as far as ridership that drive our costs up quite a bit. The reserve fund we talked about, and also we are on the heels of meeting with you all, and when I say you all, I mean the board, to be able to go through the retreat that we had about a month and a half ago now, maybe a month or so, where we deep dove into some of the issues that you see up here on the screen. The reserves fund is one of those. We want to make sure that we can keep that stabilization available for our team to make sure that that fund is available and completely funded, which it is. We also have the operating expenses listed at the bottom here with fuel hedging and utility contracts, and those are a reflection of our expenditures on the front end. Personnel costs, if I can mention, are slightly higher than budget, but our HR division, through our talent acquisition team, has helped us hire over 1,000 employees over the last 2 years, which is quite phenomenal when you think about our overall headcount of nearly 2,400. That is something that, of course, you have to consider the attrition and retirements and discipline and all of those normal things. But looking at a year of nearly 500 employees for 2024 is pretty significant. Transfer to other funds. The reserve fund is the $11.6 million in rolling stock reserve. This number is slightly higher than we have reported before. Normally you see a 10 million number there. That is our goal. That is our metric. We were able to go 1.6 million above budget this year due to some adjustments and some of the funding that was available to us. And Raj made that decision along with myself and our executive team to go ahead and kind of pad that rolling stock reserve as we are nearing the end and completion of the rail replacement project. We are super excited about that. So any way we can get closer to that goal of overall $450 million that we expected to be by the end of the project, we're going to go ahead and do so. So kudos to the finance team from tightening the belt a little bit in that. The 27th pay is concluded as well, and the amount there at nearly $900,000 is also included. The insurance fund is covered, and the total transfer to capital is also covered as well through bond retirement and capital improvement. Always like to be able to show you where our money goes, and this is pretty typical. So federal assistance through the Federal Transit Administration, we do have quite a bit of assistance through them. As you are aware, the federal guidelines are adjusting every day. However, we are not in harm's way, as we know, for any projects. We will continue to monitor those projects that affect or are impacted by any executive orders from the White House. And that would include our electric vehicle research that we have going out. That was a $10.6 million grant. That is in limbo right now, but it has not negatively impacted the progress of the project and the research. And we also have our All Stations grant, where we want to make sure that we can continue to rehab those stations as appropriately throughout the system. So we're monitoring those projects. We are not aware of any other additional impacts that might adjust our capital projects. Any questions? And if not, I believe I will sail into the next presentation.
Any questions? No, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Oh, that's me again. That's what I thought. I'll be up here for a while with you, with you guys, but I'll bring a few friends. So this is the meeting. Normally we do this in February, but due to some of our travel and also some happenings with the board, we elected to move the quarterly performance review to March. We always report 3 months in arrears. So you will be looking at fiscal year 24 information today, so just remember that since we're headlong into 25 already. This is our normal cadence, so we are on time. We have a couple of folks that are joining us today from Transpro. You may recognize their faces: Aaron Bingaman, managing principal at Transpro, and James Rubin, Dr. James Rubin, also managing, principal at Transpro. I have to get those doctors right. I work with quite a few of them here. And we also have one additional name on the slide that you may recognize as well. So we have Nick Bigger right here. And Nick is our newest addition to the leadership team on the internal side, Senior Director of Customer Experience and Performance Management. Nick is not a new face as well. He was the previous Hayden District Director on our east side, so very familiar with the operational experience of our customer. All three gentlemen will be helping me present the information today, so if you see us switch, it is intentional. All right, starting out with the agenda. And I want to preface this by saying this is a really good year to show good numbers. But because of that, I always want to be able to show from whence we came. And being able to do that is important to show the growth and the progression of working with Transpro over the last nearly 3 years now. There really has been a transformation in the way that we look at data. We had very good bones to begin with. We had Transit Stat, which was an internal process prior to Traction. We try to make it hard with all of the T's. And then making sure that we can really grow into what does the data mean, how do we own it, how do we also put metrics on the board that everybody can liken themselves to and really start to own in a deeper way. And that's where we are now. So we will be giving you a little bit of a history so that you can see where our scorecard began and where we are now, so that you can appreciate the numbers that we're going to explain to you, and also be able to bring you new numbers in 2025. All right. So with this, I'm actually going to punt over to Aaron for a moment. We'll go back and forth to be able to provide a little bit of that history.
Thank you, Ms. Terry. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. So excited to be the class historian for you today. The invitation shortly after India became the CEO was to help the organization think a little bit differently about how do we define success as an organization. What kind of systems do we come into place? At the point of her transition to the CEO, the organization had taken on 5 different pillar studies and a long-range strategic planning process. The question becomes, how do we develop a culture of ownership to tie all of that work to results on an annual basis? And so the development of Traction and the performance management scorecard process was the outcome of that. And the team has then been working over years to build the internal muscle and capacity. So very excited for the baton that's being passed here this year, and the next role to really own that more internally and start to step down our involvement in that. Some of you, if any of you, were on the board 3 years ago, and Reverend Lucas, of course, was, I think 1 or 2, yeah. Thank you. You might remember our first scorecard came in at, out of 100 points, of 46. We had set some initial goals around what are the key performance indicators, how do we weight and score ourselves on this performance scorecard, and we were struggling out the gate, also starting to feel our way around understanding, are we measuring what matters, what are the right things to measure, how do we really start to think about the practical application of that, and also, how do we help our team internally understand how their work contributes to organizational success? And that has been an emphasis of this program throughout. And even, you can see in the upper right corner, that is an actual live picture. Is that Doc standing in front of? That might be a picture of us from our very first meeting together, really starting to think about what does success look like at RTA? What is our mission? And does our old mission reflect who we are? And that was where Connecting the Community was born that day, that afternoon, and has become the kind of the driving mantra of the organization going forward in defining that scorecard. So as you see, we are in the midst of this transition and transformation. I will not be presenting your results today. Nick Bigger will be presenting your results today. And he has been collaborating with the team over the course of the last year to really start the scorecard ownership process. Our team continues to be less and less involved on the day in, day out basis. We continue to provide support. But this is what excites us. The purpose of our organization, what gets us out of bed, is transformation that produces results. And seeing the transformation and ownership that RTA is taking of this system to put in place all those pillar studies, all the aspects of your long-range strategic plan into an annual performance outcome system really gets us excited. So you can see we're stepping down. We started by doing, and RTA was watching and learning. We were leading, they were helping, and now they are leading, and we are helping, and they are doing, and we're beginning to watch and advise from afar. So an exciting transformation, and looking forward to sharing the results from Nick. There you go, bud. Oh, I get to do this one. All right, sorry. That's what I get for paying attention in the rehearsal. So you can see this is our last quarter report for the fourth quarter. We continue to remain focused in 2024 and in 2025. You'll see some slight adjustments as Nick looks forward. Those 4 areas of impact as we think about what success looks like at RTA are customer experience, community impact, employee investment, and financial health. These definitions have evolved and changed over time. This is about saying what is important to us, and there is going to be a lot of noise right now in the environment about expectations for public infrastructure and investment in transportation systems. We continue to say customer experience is really important to us at RTA. It's our most important thing. And you can see that the group has overperformed in the areas of improving customer satisfaction and our Net Promoter Score being our customers' willingness to recommend our service to friends and family members. The impact on community, the recognition that our community sees value that RTA delivers to the Cleveland region, and overperforming in that category as well. Employee investment being driven by really what we call our vacancy fill rate. CEO Terry talked about the hiring of 1,000 employees. So much work goes into what needs to be done. So many other organizations in the transit space are really facing labor force shortfalls, gaps, and your team has prioritized that to fill that and performing at a high level. And then financial health being about our transfers to the Capital Reserve Fund and meeting and exceeding those. So you can see we overperformed in 2024 to the 100 point. We do allow for some extra credit. That is how that's happened. It is capped, so it's not unlimited extra credit to create an imbalance in the scorecard. And congratulations on another fine year. To be sure, the team works hard about setting aspirational goals in those outcomes and stretching themselves, and they continue to stretch themselves into 2025. So you can see our Net Promoter Score target was a 21, and we reached a 42 in that part. You can see that the goal for the perception of relevance to me, the value I see in that, as well as relevance to the community, continues to remain high. 92% of people in our community find relevance in RTA to the benefit of the region. Now, if you think about that in the context of maybe 3 or 4% of our community actually uses our service, that's an incredible story to tell, that people still see value and find that personal relevance in our service. Slightly off on our vacancy fill rate goal, but performing at a high level of 90%, and then earning over $60 million in the competitive capital grants program, far exceeding our goal of $35 million, which demonstrates tremendous intentionality, focus, purpose, and the ability to tell the story of why we need to be investing in RTA with our state and federal partners. Now, sorry, Nick, I was just so excited. We'll hand it over to Nick. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Nick, before you start, let me just, for the good of the board, are there materials with the scorecard information here? I just want to be sure we're looking at if there are things to reference that we're looking at.
Oh, in their board pack.
So I will answer that. The answer is yes. If you look through your packet there, you actually see it to your right-hand side. That's the booklet. Yep.
This is the,
And that takes you through the customer experience. We're more than happy to be able to reorient some of our newer members with that information. At your dais, just so we can kind of level set, you will have a copy of every presentation base that you hear today. So for example, there's a copy of the internal audit plan at your desk as well. There are all the resolutions as well as the scorecard, as well as the QMR budget book that I just went over as well. So if you do have additional questions, just grab one of us at the conclusion of the meeting if we can't answer during the meeting for you today. But it is all included in your packet. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I just want to clarify what is in here versus what we're seeing on these slides. So that's helpful. I'll follow up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Good morning, Chair Pachetti, members of the board. My name is Nick Bigger. I'm the Senior Director of Customer Experience and Performance Management. And I'm going to kind of take us through our fourth quarter 2024 organizational performance. As you just heard Aaron talk about, RTA does use a balanced scorecard approach to measure our performance. So we have 4 main success outcomes. Each of these success outcomes exists in balance, and then all of our key metrics and goals align up to these success outcomes. The first one you see here is customer experience. The majority of our metrics in customer experience come directly from our customer experience surveys. So RTA does do a quarterly randomized onboard intercept survey model. We survey customers across all of our modes of service. So we get over 400 responses by mode, so fixed route bus, bus rapid transit, rail, and paratransit. So these results, we get about 1,600 or so results from our customers on a quarterly basis. And in this way, these results are infused directly into our scorecard. So the voice of the customer exists directly in our scorecard. Sitting at the top there is Net Promoter Score. So, asking the simple question, how likely are you to recommend riding RTA to a friend or neighbor? We look at the comparison between people who are promoters and people who are detractors. That's how you come up with the score. We did have a goal of 21. In the fourth quarter, we achieved a 42 Net Promoter Score. This was driven in large part by receiving a 47 Net Promoter Score on fixed route bus, which I do want to highlight. That's the highest Net Promoter Score we've received on that mode of transportation since we've been surveying customers. So pretty good results there. We're also looking at overall customer satisfaction. So customers who are satisfied or very satisfied with our service. Some other metrics from the surveys, you can see customer perception. So customer perception of safety and security, customer perception with on-time performance, and customer perception with vehicle cleanliness. As we've gone through the surveys in time, these continue to be areas that are very important to our customers or are pain points for our customers. So we want to make sure that these exist on our scorecard so that we can track our progress in terms of how we're delivering them. The one piece, or the one metric on here that is not derived from the surveys is our actual on-time performance data. So this is our internal data. We track this metric 2 ways because of how important it is to our customers. So that's why you see it tracked on here 2 ways. Transitioning to the second success outcome, community impact. So a couple of different ways that we try to measure our community impact. The top 2 metrics here are also derived from surveys. This is a different type of survey. This is our community value survey. Our community value survey we administer twice a year. So this survey goes out to the community at large. So it's a little more nuanced than the customer survey. So when we survey the community at large, you do get some people who ride RTA or people who know people who ride RTA, but you also get people who don't ride RTA, right? So we're gauging our value to the community at whole, whether or not you ride RTA. So community value survey is represented on here in 2 ways. So we want to know, is RTA relevant to you personally? And then what is your perception of RTA's relevance to the community? A couple of other things that we like to track for community impact. So we're looking at our private sector investment associated with major projects that the RTA does. So major projects that are ongoing or recently closed, how much investment and development has been associated with that. We're looking at where we're investing our capital money. So making sure, where are we targeting them? We're looking at these EJ zones to see where we're spurring investment. And then lastly, for sustainability, we're looking at our reduction in type 1 and type 2 emissions on our scorecard. The third success outcome is employee investment. So a few themes here. So we're looking at our manpower, so our vacancy rate. We like to target what we call our mission critical positions. So looking at our vacancy fill rate for operators, mechanics, and transit police officers. We also, a little bit down the scorecard here, we're tracking our vacancy fill rate across the organization. So just looking at how many positions we have vacant versus filled. Cultivate internal talent pipeline. This is looking at our internal promotion rate. So looking at employees who are here, to what extent are we promoting employees up for promotional opportunities. Our overall retention rate. So how capable are we at retaining employees who are here? The last metric, supervisor support. This comes from our employee survey. So we administer the employee survey one time a year. That's why you see the metrics staying flat all year long. This is just gauging all of our employees, to what extent do they feel that their supervisor is invested in their growth. Our last success outcome is financial health. So here we're looking at the dollar amount of competitive capital grants that are coming in. We're also looking at our operating expenses, so making sure that we're monitoring and trying to reduce our operating expenses. The last metric at the bottom there is somewhat affiliated, so this is our service efficiency. So we're looking at our operating expenses per revenue hour. And the third metric there, this is very important. You heard CEO Terry talk about this earlier. So this is the transfer to support the rail car replacement program. So we have a goal of $10 million per year to try to support the purchase of the new rail cars. So we're tracking our general fund transfer to capital and rolling stock reserve fund. With that, I'm going to transition to Dr. James Rubin. He's going to give us a deep dive into the customer experience surveys that I talked about.
Thanks, Nick, and good morning, RTA Board, and thanks for having me here before you to give you some insight into what your customers are thinking and feeling. I'm going to do this in sort of 3 steps. First, I'm going to start with some super high-level stuff, then I'm going to go just service by service, fixed route bus, BRT, rail, paratransit, and then some summing up, which might give some insight into what's driving some of the changes that we're going to see. Before I jump in, a few slides ago, you saw a rating of A+ for the agency, and I don't want to move away from that so quickly without reflecting on that for a minute. It may look superficially like an agency and organization just patting itself on the back and giving itself a super high grade. But as Nick and Aaron both went over, it's really important to note that Net Promoter Score, particularly for your fixed route bus customers, again, that's the likelihood of them recommending their service to friends and family, achieved a tremendous score the last time around. We'll see it in a minute. So you would set a goal as an agency of low to mid 20s, and it came in the mid 40s, which is a tremendous achievement, and that's really what's driving that incredible customer experience result from this time around. So I'm here primarily to deliver good news in the sense that customer perceptions have improved, particularly around fixed route bus. And let's get into fixed route bus to start with. You can see from the last time I was before you to this time, from the last wave to the current wave, we can see again improvement both in blue here, which is Net Promoter Score, likely to recommend, and in orange, which is overall satisfaction. That's just simply customers who are satisfied or very satisfied with service. When I was last before you, we were at 64% satisfaction and a Net Promoter Score of 31, 77% satisfaction now, and a Net Promoter Score of 47. And I really want to point out, excuse me, allergy season, 3 quarters in a row of improvement on Net Promoter Score here for fixed route bus, right? You could see that steady curve up. Showing consistency towards improvement, and from your customer's perspective. I want to remind everyone on the board and everyone in the room that these results don't come in instantaneously, right? Your customers don't experience improved on-time performance and then the next week say, I'm that much more satisfied. It takes weeks and months of experiencing that service for them to internalize that and then be able to tell you about that in survey results. So really impressive to see continuous improvement here over several months. This is a grouping of super high level attributes. On your survey, you ask upwards of about 20 different attributes of customers, what's most important to them and how satisfied they are. We group them. So what we're doing here is we're saying across all of those attributes, those that relate to personal safety and security, those that relate to drivers, we've kind of lumped them together to give you a super high level here of what's going through your customer's mind, what's really the most pressing things on their mind as they use the system. And you could see personal safety and security at 19% here, followed by on-time performance at 18. This is for fixed route bus. Cleanliness at 15, drivers at 15. and similar number there for cost of a ride, down at 15. So you can see the top 5 most important things to fixed route bus customers really agglomerated upwards, so really high level, most important things there. If we were to break these down, you would see much more levels of detail, which are available in our key driver analysis. We don't have time to go into that today, but Nick can certainly take you through that stuff, and we can go into detail. Here's Bus Rapid Transit, slightly less of a positive story, somewhat flat, from last quarter to this quarter, but a slight improvement in overall satisfaction, going up from 65% to 74%. Net Promoter Score, relatively flat, 38, 40, and 38 over the last 3 quarters, 3 measurement waves there. What's most important to Bus Rapid Transit customers, by far here, personal safety and security popping up at 25%, followed by on-time performance, cleanliness, and drivers, all kind of marching down in a stepwise progression. It is worth noting, just flipping back here, that Net Promoter Score for Bus Rapid Transit was down at 11 back in March of 24. So the fact that it's up to 38 now and has been maintained at that level over 2 quarters is not necessarily bad news, right? We like to see improvement, but we also like to see improvements that have been maintained, and we can see that's the case here with Bus Rapid Transit. Rail, showing a sort of slight uptick from the last wave to this wave for Net Promoter Score, up to 19 from 12 the last time we saw this. But we see overall satisfaction ticking down to a 60%. Again, sort of the second wave in a row that we saw a slight decrease in overall satisfaction for rail service. The 2 most important things for rail customers, and I don't think this will come as a surprise to anyone, on-time performance and personal safety and security kind of coming in as a tie as the 2 most important things when we aggregate all of those attributes and really try to get into the minds of the customer. Lastly, paratransit continues to do particularly well. I don't want to spend too much time looking at very slight increases and decreases in this chart when you can see that consistently paratransit comes in at above 65 Net Promoter Score, a tremendous achievement, 86% satisfaction rating. We don't want to ignore that. We certainly monitor this for any dramatic changes in trends in this, but we consider most of these very slight movements up and down to be not a lot of noise, just mostly noise. So mostly satisfied customers here on the paratransit side. And again, personal safety and security of a different nature for paratransit customers, right? They're not standing at the bus stop waiting for the bus and they're concerned about the personal safety and security there. They're concerned about their safety and security has a lot more to do with, getting into the vehicle and being secured. It's a different kind of safety and security. So aggregating across the entire agency, and I want to remind folks, 71% of your ridership, give or take, is fixed route bus. So these results are driven mostly by fixed route bus, to some degree by rail, which is another 18%, and then some BRT and a little bit paratransit, right? So you can see those overall agency results. From wave 11 through wave 12, we could see a 66% satisfaction rating up to a 74% and a 29 Net Promoter Score up to an agency Net Promoter Score of about a 42. I did tell you I was going to try to explain what's driving those changes, because if we just gave you those numbers and said goodbye, we would be like, hey, the next time we see you, hope they're up, but we're not going to give you any information. Let's give you some information. So those important attributes for customers across the agency, on-time performance, from that last wave to this wave, improved from 55% satisfaction to 72% satisfaction. Think about that. 55%, just slightly more than half of customers were satisfied with on-time performance the last time you went out and surveyed. This time when you went out and surveyed, almost 3/4 of your customers were satisfied with on-time performance. So that's an improvement from their perspective. That's absolutely driving the overall satisfaction perception improvement. Personal safety and security also improved, 60% satisfaction up to 66%. So that's going to be a statistically significant improvement, and again, an attribute that we know customers think is really, really important. And lastly, system cleanliness, 48% satisfaction. That was below the 50%. That was below majority the last time in wave 11. Wave 12, it climbed to 53. It might seem like a small bit, but that's right at the margin to be a statistically significant improvement, and that is coming from the perspective of your customers.
Thanks, James. So we're just going to finish up this presentation here with a bird's eye view of the traction program. So, here we are today highlighted in March, giving the board presentation. The way that we administer our traction program, so we go through the scorecards, is what we just did. So the metrics and the scorecards are the what. So these are the things that are important to us that we want to try to improve on, track our performance. We have another concept, we call them tactics. So tactics are the how. So we have about 16 tactics. They're cascaded through all of the success outcomes. These tactics are specific year-long strategies or initiatives that we do to try to move the needle on some of our key metrics. So as we go forward, we also meet internally to go over our scorecard, to go over our customer experience survey results so that we know how we're performing, what our customers are telling us. And then we have specific cadences for our tactics review. So we have tactics owners who are responsible for trying to move the needle on these metrics, and we do that on a monthly basis. So just wanted to share that with all of you today. That's all we had. Any questions?
So at this time, I don't know if you had any questions. I know that was a lot of information and quite a few presenters as well, but we're happy to answer any that you may have.
Go ahead.
I had a question on the Net Promoter Score, and I think we've talked about this before. When I dig into the binder on rail, it shows a Net Promoter Score of 19. I think it would be really, really helpful to break those down by lines because there's a blend there. The majority of our ridership on rail is the red line, and if that's a high or a low number, I think that's super important considering we're investing hundreds of millions of dollars in new rail cars. I think that's worthy of just a breakdown and make sure the sample size on each line. If you've got one or two lines that are really high and one that's in the dumper, that's an area of focus. Keep you busy, Nick. Job security.
Thank you. Got it.
Any other questions from the full board? I just want to thank you. I mean, this has clearly been a journey as you transition ownership back internally. And I really appreciated the slide in the beginning that said, we do, you watch. And it went, we lead, you help, you lead, we help, you do, we watch. So I assume we are pretty much in 2025 in the you do, we watch category. And I just wanted to hear your comments on that.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I will, and I'm going to ask Aaron, because he's been through it the whole 3 years, to come up and give his 2 cents as well on your comment, Trustee Pichetti. That is very intuitive. It has been a process. There has always not been 100% buy-in to the process. I think that we have switched that, and that is on behalf of the board and the staff. This is definitely a different mechanism by which we can push our ability to own the data. I give a great example, Doc's group in operations, especially within cleaning and within janitorial and labor, as well as transit police, are great examples of how to own that data and really be able to start to transform our processes so that we see a difference in Net Promoter Score. We see a difference in the cleanliness reports. It goes from being the top to the middle, or the top to the bottom. Also being able to think about how we are not quite there yet in a lot of different categories as far as hitting the goals. Some of the goals are very aggressive. HR is one of those. When you get to the recruitment and the workforce, 95% is very aggressive within our industry, how we are now, but we have to be that way. I think we're at either 89 or 90% of that goal, and we have to mark ourselves accordingly. So no matter how many folks that we get in the door, we have to also think about how many people are we retaining, how many people are being promoted, how many folks feel like their supervisor is invested in their success. And those are the small metrics behind the larger ones. So if you see an A+ or you see even a B, that there's some blood, sweat, and tears behind that letter. And I think that us being able to get to that point and understanding that we have to be able to stretch ourselves is important. So Aaron, I know I took a little bit of time, so you got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds? There you go. I'm incapable of 30 seconds. I think that the thing we can take for granted when we start to see positive results on the back end of a system like this is that cultural transformation takes time. And that when you have a new leader to an organization that wants to do something different, some folks, not everybody, can go, this is one more dumb thing I got to do. She's not going to be here. I don't have to pay attention to this. That happens at different places. And what has been exciting and what I've enjoyed and brings us personal joy when we collaborate with RTD is the ownership that has happened first at the level of our chiefs and deputy general managers, and then seeing our managers and our directors begin to really buy in and believe and understand, oh, we're going to continue to do this. Oh, this is really important. Oh, they mean this. Oh, I'm going to be asked, what am I doing to achieve the results we desire? How do I make sure my team understands their role in helping us contributing these goals? How's my performance tied to organizational success? And so the thing I didn't say that I think you all know, right, that organizational performance scorecard is how you all evaluate objectively the performance of the CEO. Well, it is now trickling through the organization where the DGMs are being held to a similar performance management cadence. And so what I think it reflects, and what we're excited about, is just the ownership that has really evolved throughout the entire enterprise to know what the most important things are for our organization and to understand what that work is that contributes to that, and then to just believe. It is a Novocaine strategy. Give it time, it will work, and there's just been a commitment, I think, by our leadership to stay with it. So thank you.
Well, thank you for your partnership, and I think with that, if there's nothing else, we're gonna, I think we can adjourn, and then we have a lot on the agenda today, so. Yes, do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you.
Second Welch.
Okay, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And we'll now transition to the Committee of the Whole.
Mayor Kumar, Ms. Welch,
Yes.
Ms. Elder,
Yes.
Mayor Gallo,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Reverend Lucas, Ms. McPherson,
Yes.
Ms. Pachetti,
Yes.
Mayor Weiss.
Present.
Thank you. You do have a quorum,
present, too.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We have one item today. Tony Garofoli, Executive Director of Internal Audit, is going to present the fourth quarter report. Thank you so much for being here, Tony.
Thank you, and good morning, Mayor Kumar, members of the Committee of the Whole, the leadership team, guests. For the record, my name is Anthony Garofoli, Executive Director of Internal Audit, and I will present the results of the internal audit activities for the fourth quarter 2024. Please refer to this report that's in your package. It was sent to you both online and in hard copy. On February 18th, 2025, we presented these activities in detail to the Audit Committee. Today's presentation is a summary. Beginning on pages 3 through 5 is the 2024 Internal Audit Plan approved at the March 2024 board meeting. Per our professional standards, the plan was aligned with the GCRTA strategic plan, and just like the last presentation, the performance metrics, including customer experience, community impact, financial health, and employee investment. Just a note, on February 25th, 2025, the board approved the 2025 plan, which my staff is executing. Back to this report. On pages 6 through 12, please find the results of 11 audit projects completed during the fourth quarter. These projects are employee travel expense and requests, emergency operations plan, an identity and access management audit of the GCRTA bid dispatch system, a fuel expense audit with a focus on diesel and gasoline, petty cash, a supply chain contract management audit, standard operating procedures within the rail equipment shop maintenance and management system, an audit of bus field supervision, the Hayden District roof replacement contract, an audit of accident, incident, training, and discipline outcomes, and finally, the pre-award audit for the contract to replace 40 compressed natural gas buses. We met with management, received their responses to our audit recommendations, and released the reports. We'll track the implementation of the recommendations within our audit management system. There were no issues for board consideration. On pages 13 through 17 are the results of our continuous auditing program, where we develop audit scripts to interrogate system data in real time, completing 100% audits for the data transactions. Those scripts include fare collection, purchasing card transactions, nepotism, and payroll. We shared the results with appropriate stakeholders. Again, there were no issues for board consideration. On pages 18 through 26 is the report section focused on the rail car replacement program. Per the request of the audit committee, we include the results of our audit activities related to the entire program with a focus on change orders and contractor payments. Please note on page 19, project management reports that they completed the pre-manufacturing design review process, a significant milestone. In November of 2024, the board authorized management to exercise an option under contract number 2021-125 with Siemens Mobility for the purchase and delivery of 18 high-floor light rail vehicles at the contract price of $5,166,336 plus an inflationary price increase calculated at the time of the final assembly based on the producer price index for transportation equipment and a labor index published monthly by the United States Department of Labor Bureau and Statistics, also for spare parts and tooling. On page 19 is a copy of that change order log. It's maintained by the procurement department. Internal audit completed, and then also noted in the report, internal audit completed a pre-award audit, and the change order reflects the 18 rail cars. The total value of the Siemens Mobility contract and change orders is $308,389,849.21. Total payments to the contractor as of February 7th, 2025 are $74,543,184.26, representing 24% of the contract paid. On pages 22 and 23 are tables that we developed to summarize railcar program contracts, amounts, expenditures, and change orders. Internal audit is engaged in various audits as we continue to assess risk and compliance. The status of those audits is detailed on those following pages 24 and 26. Please note we completed an audit of the rail car equipment workforce development program. We will report on the results of other audits in future meetings with the audit committee. On pages 27 through 35 are projects in various stages of completion of our plan. Some of those 2024 projects carried over to 2025 plan. Please note we added Project Phase to provide our readers with transparency information status, planning, fieldwork, reporting. We will report on these projects in future audit committee meetings. On pages 29 through 30, please find the details and updates of 3 special projects and emerging issues. We're completing these projects in our role as Inspector General,
for the GCRTA. We'll share the results of these investigations with appropriate stakeholders in accordance with our audit charter, and we'll follow up on all outstanding recommendations. On page 36 is our efforts to work with external auditors. At this point, we are working with Raj's group and the state auditors who are on site completing the field work for the 2024 financial and single audit. We continue to work with the Federal Transit Administration's Program Management Oversight Consultant for the Railcar program. The remainder of this report is informational. We continue to follow up on all audit recommendations to validate corrective actions that are implemented. We participate in several steering committees and meetings to learn and share risk management strategies. On page 42 is the training my staff and I attended during the fourth quarter. The last page is our staff profiles. At this point, I can take any questions from the committee of the whole.
Questions from anyone? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor
Great
Kumar.
overview.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
All right, I would now like to call the annual meeting to order. Raj, can we please get a roll call?
Certainly. Mayor Kumar,
Present.
Ms. Welch,
Present.
Ms. Elder,
Here.
Mayor Gallo,
Here.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Reverend Lucas, Ms. McPherson,
Here.
Ms. Pachetti,
Here.
Mayor Weiss.
Present.
All right, you have all 10 committee members here, so you have a quorum.
Thank you, Raj. On January 21st, a letter from the nominating committee was emailed to all board members announcing that nominations were open for the offices of board vice president and board president. Letters of interest were due February 25th. The nominating committee received 3 letters. One from Mayor Paul Kumar for president, one from Jeffrey Sleesman for president, and one from Lauren Welch for president. I'm sorry, for vice president. Thank you for the correction. At this time, are there any additional nominations for the office of president or vice president?
Mr. Love, if I may interrupt the proceedings, we were required to read the certification statement, so if I could have that entered into the record?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I first advise that notice of this meeting has been posted more than 24 hours in advance of the meeting, that the usual notification has been given the news media and other interested persons, and that all requirements of the Ohio Revised Code and rules and bylaws of this board regarding notice of meeting have been complied with.
Thank you. As previously stated, all 3 candidates were approved at the March 4th nominating committee to be considered at this annual meeting. I'll ask once again, at this time, are there any additional nominations for the office of president or vice president? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move forward with any statements from the nominees. Would any nominee like to make a statement to the full board? We'll start with the nominees for the office of president.
There's not much more to add. We've already submitted letters and we spoke at the last time we convened. But I just appreciate the opportunity. And if elected, look forward to a period of increased collaboration, both internally and externally. And with that.
Yeah, and I think we did speak the last meeting. Thank you for the opportunity. But, if elected, would love to continue to work and collaborate more with all of you. And I think I've spoken with each of you, most of you individually, about opportunities with outside agencies like NOACA and other those entities that I think could benefit RTA.
I'm just grateful to sit in this seat, and I'm grateful to the vote of confidence, not only in GCRTA leadership, but in Mayor Justin Bibb. You know, he never sat in this seat or the president's seat and became a wonderful mayor. And I'm just grateful that he can see talent and leadership in all of us. And, my grandmother will always say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And so I think that when you sit in this seat, you have to be prepared to step up to the plate and lead whenever that comes. And so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to step up to the plate and lead.
Thank you for your statements. We'll now move to consider the nominees first for board president, and we will do so by a roll call voice vote. Do I have a motion for the roll call voice vote?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. So we're going to request that you please state your selected nominee as we call the roll. Raj, can you please call roll?
Certainly. Mayor Kumar,
Paul Kumar.
Ms. Welch,
Jeff Sleesman.
Ms. Elder,
Jeff Sleesman.
Mayor Gallo,
Mayor Kumar.
Mr. Love,
Mayor Kumar.
Reverend Lucas, Ms. McPherson,
Jeff Sleesman.
Ms. Pachetti,
Mayor Kumar.
Mayor Weiss,
Mayor Kumar.
Mr. Sleesman.
Jeff Sleesman.
Thank you. We have 6 out of the 10 votes for Mayor Kumar.
Thank you, Raj. We will now move forward with an opportunity for the president to make a statement regarding the selection.
Thank you very much for your support. I think we've got a lot of opportunity ahead of us this year. You've seen the traction report, the success we've had, and I look forward to working with management and collaborating more than we have in the past.
Thank you. The nominating committee now recommends that the board vote to select the office of board vice president by voice vote in accordance with the Board of Trustees bylaws. Can I ask for a motion for a roll call vote?
So move Pachetti.
Do I have a second?
Second, McPherson.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move forward with the roll call vote. Raj?
Mayor Kumar, or the vice president?
Is it a yes or no? That's what I wanted to know.
Yes, no would be appropriate. Okay. Ms. Welch,
Yes.
Ms. Elder,
Yes.
Mayor Gallo,
Yes.
Mr. Love, Reverend Lucas,
Yes, yes.
Ms. McPherson,
Yes.
Ms. Pachetti,
Yes.
Mr. Sleesman,
Yes.
Mayor Weiss.
Yes.
All right, we have a unanimous vote. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the Vice President. Is there an opportunity to make a statement?
Again, just grateful to be able to lead. I appreciate the vote and confidence. I look forward to continuing the year with Mayor Kumar and looking forward to ways that we can work collaboratively with everyone to forward the mission of GCRTA.
Thank you. And thank you again to all the candidates that were part of this process. We really appreciated the opportunity to hear about your leadership and interest and dedication to serving both the GCRTA board, but also serving the community. We look forward to working with our president and vice president in the year ahead. At this time, I'm going to motion to adjourn the annual meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Weiss, Mayor Weiss.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Going to motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Motion Welch.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I would like to call to order the RTA Board of Trustees meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kumar,
Here.
Ms. Welch,
Present.
Ms. Elder,
Here.
Mayor Gallo,
Here.
Mr. Love,
Here.
Reverend Lucas, Ms. McPherson,
Here.
Ms. Pachetti,
Here.
Mr. Sleesman,
Here.
Mayor Weiss.
Present.
Okay, you have all 10 board members here.
Thank you so much. Item number 3, certification regarding notice of meeting, please.
Mr. President, I first advise that notice of this meeting has been posted more than 24 hours in advance of the meeting, that the usual notification has been given the news media and other interested persons, and that all requirements of the Ohio Revised Code and rules and bylaws of this board regarding notice of the meeting have been complied with.
Thank you very much. Number 4, approval of the February 25th board meetings. I think you have those in front of you. Is there a motion to approve those?
Second, Welch. Motion, Welch.
Second, Sleesman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, public comments on agenda
Mr.
and
President.
non-agenda.
Mr. President, I have a question. This probably is a technical question for the staff. You know, I've been looking at the font and the type of these through the years. I noticed we have moved to another set of typing. Was there a reason for that?
Reverend, can you clarify, is the
If you
font
look at
different?
If you look at the revised agenda, that was, what machine was that done on?
Oh, no, that I could not answer. Avis, I don't know, or Deb, if you have any detail on that. Let me preface this by saying it's been an all hands on deck approach for this meeting in the absence of Teresa and moving forward. But I would say we've had quite a few cooks in the kitchen, and that probably is what you're seeing.
Very good. That's a good enough answer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Public comment. This is for agenda and non-agenda items, and I would ask that you state your name and city of residence and your topic. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to talk? Please come up to the microphone.
This one.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna need to borrow a chair to help demonstrate something. Okay, first of all, I'm one of the more nostalgic customers of RTA. I always pay with cash when I go on the bus. I take $5 and I get an all-day pass. That's the only way I've ever paid on RTA, by using the cash and the all-day pass. So I'm very nostalgic. So, and now the next thing, when you ride certain bus lines, especially the Health Line or the number 51 Pearl Road line, there's a lot of computer advertisements on. There's a lot of computer advertisements on both the 51 Pearl Road line and also the Health Line. So, and I'm not one for computers. So if I go on some of those big ones like the Health Line or 51. I'm known for sitting down and shielding out those computer advertisements like that. That's what I would do if I'm on some of those, like the 51 Pearl Road, the 51 Pearl Road or the Health Line, to shield out the computer advertisements when I'm on the bus. And I also want to mention about. The RTA doesn't have to spend all their money on computers either. There's some afternoon routes that have incomplete routes. The 251 it only gives you one way during the afternoon, and also 51A only gives you one way during the afternoon. We should have all afternoon routes being both ways, including 251 and the North Royalton round 53A. And those two routes only give one way during the afternoon. And we should have all routes in the afternoon giving two-way service, including 251 and the North Royalton line. And so if you cut back a little bit on that, spending less money on computers, you might have money to afford a two-way line for some of those 251 and North Royalton lines. So I'm one of the more nostalgic RTA patrons where technology doesn't concern me too much. There's other things besides. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Wait.
who did that?
Okay. There's other things in life besides technology. So that's about it.
We appreciate your comments, sir. This is India Birdsong Terry, General Manager. Thank you for the comments and the demonstration. I think we understood your point with that, so we appreciate you.
Great. Do we have others in the audience that have a comment today? Yes, sir.
My name is Kevin Hinkle. I'm a regular RTA writer. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. My question is there any chance that they're going to put a bus stop at the corner of Bridge Avenue and West 25th Street to make Dave's grocery store a little more accessible, especially for the seniors?
Thank you for your comment. I don't know if management has a response at this time, but maybe take it under consideration.
We will.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any individuals on the phone today?
We do have one caller. Caller 0387, you can go ahead.
This is Eric Stewart. I'm calling from Cleveland. As I listen in today, I want to mention to you that this has been the first time in over 4 months that somebody's been able to call the number 440-276-4600, which is the number that you're receiving, that I receive you on, and be on longer than the public comments and the web form. Even though the public comments are cut short often and the web form is often abbreviated. But your responses to those are never abbreviated. And if you're going to have this phone number available, it should be available for the entirety of the Board of Trustees meetings as it has been before. In addition to that, you should be given more time for public comments, questions, and comments during these meetings so that people can address in the middle and the beginning if time provides. In reference to what Mayor Kumar said to me last month about us not sharing the same vision about the routes that I kept bringing up, and I will continue to bring up, the 48A suggestion, the 15A suggestion, and the moving of the 50, I'm following what your claim is on the next gen. You claim that next gen is supposed to improve efficiency between school, hospital, and work. The most common job in Metro Cleveland is a retail job. My route suggestions do address that. The hospitals, the 50, if this moves in the right place, it will give direct service not just to University Hospital and Cleveland Clinic, but also Marymount Hospital, which nobody's ever had, west of Miles and north of 116th and Miles. That could be done very easily. And then, as I've often about the 48A, that's in documentation right now in your Board of Trustees email that I sent to you. Then in reference to Terry referencing me as being nauseating and my constant bringing this up, I'm waiting for you to address where the errors are in anything that I brought up in any kind of way. You have not done that. So if you feel nauseated in any kind of way, it's not because of my comments. It's because of some other kind of condition that's going on. I believe that this is an important thing, public transit, for the social economic well-being of the public. If you believe that it is your responsibility to take care
Mr.
of
Stewart,
the
thank you for your comments today. Your time is up.
Transit, you will
do we have another caller?
There are no other callers.
Thank you. Do we have any comments on the web form? Deborah?
Yes, good morning to the board and all present. Mr. Eric Stewart left a message on Friday the 14th, and everything that he just stated verbally is what's written. Should I read it? Okay.
If it's the same general
It's the
comments,
same.
that's fine.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for that. And if I just may clarify, ad nauseum is not a medical condition. Thank you.
So as of 8:30 this morning, we received from Mr. Isaac Shemisky Agosto, City of Residence, Cleveland, stated, "It is great to see more progress being made towards fare capping. I have been looking forward to getting an RTA smart card for years, and I am excited to finally be close to being able to get one. This will make my life easier and riding RTA more convenient. Thank you."
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you very much. Item number 6, we're going to go on to the Board Governance Committee reports. Do we have anything under operational planning and infrastructure? Mr. Sleesman.
No, there's no updates since the last committee meeting.
Any other updates under organizational services and performance monitoring? Ms. Pachetti.
No, nothing more.
Mayor Weiss under audit and safety, real estate?
Nothing since the last presentation, last quarters.
Okay, Ms. Welch under external and stakeholder relations. You've got to
No.
have something, right?
I have nothing right now.
Or under civilian oversight?
Nothing right now.
Great. And under Community Advisory Committee, Ms. McPherson.
Same, nothing to report this morning.
Great.
Chair, I will just note under the ad hoc committees, I will make a few comments about the compensation committee, which has been active since the last meeting, but I'll do that in conjunction with the resolution. It'll make a little more sense.
Okay, perfect. All right, item number 14, introduction of new employees and announcements of promotions.
Good morning. Board President Kumar, congratulations. Vice Chair, congratulations. And General Manager, CEO, India Birdsong, Terry, entire board. My name is Ida Marshall. I am representing the Talent Acquisition Department. It is my distinct pleasure to announce those individuals, our operators who are moving our city forward. And our new hires for March are starting with, L'Oreal Goodman, Delbert Harrison, Torian Jenkins, Deborah Wright, DeAndre Ward, Barbara Conley, Jalen Speet, Patrick Robinson, and Tashana Coleman. Next is Tamara Ivory, Ronetta Watkins, Donnell Thomas. This is Stevie. There's 2 E's in there for a reason. It's Stevie Bunneman, Rolando Terry, Isam Jassim, Ronika Davis is paratransit operator, Javon Lawson, paratransit operator, and Michelle Myers, paratransit operator. Finalizing the operators is Taisha Wilson, paratransit operator part-time. And moving to our main office building is we welcome Connie Lee as a payroll specialist 1. And then Saravan Kumar Palagiri as senior program analyst. And in operations, we welcome Matthew Marcial as maintainer. It is a distinct honor to acknowledge Lisa Towns as the new district director of our Hayden district. We also have Todd Morrison, engineering project engineer for bridges. We have Terry Phillips, our new mail truck driver, Mark Campbell, assistant operating instructor, and Demetrius Lumpkin, assistant operator instructor. We want to give these individuals a round of applause for excelling in their careers, and that is our report.
Go on to resolutions now. 2025-38.
Authorizing contract number 2024-225 with J. Ross Express, Inc. for motor vehicle towing and flat tire replacement services as specified and as required in an amount not to exceed $596,805 for a 3-year period, and in an amount not to exceed $198,935 for each of the 2 option years for a total 5-year contract amount not to exceed $994,675. General Fund, Fleet Management Department budget.
Thank you very much. You've heard that resolution. Is there a motion and a second to move that forward?
Motion, Pachetti.
Second, Welch.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes. 2025-39.
Authorizing contract number 2024-213 with Mike Coates Construction Company Incorporated for project number 24W Warrensville Van Aken Station reconstruction in an amount not to exceed $6,702,676. RTA Development Fund, Engineering and Project Development Department budget.
Okay, you've heard that as well. Are there any comments and questions on that? If not, a motion and a second, please.
Move to approve, Sleesman.
Second, Love.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pardon me?
Excuse me.
39 passes. 40 has been removed from the agenda for a little bit more work. 2025-41.
Permanent easement for the construction, use, operation, and maintenance of a connector track, delivery switch, and related facilities for delivery of replacement rail cars.
Okay. You've heard that. Any comments? If not, a motion and a second, please.
So moved, McPherson.
Second, Sleesman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, that passes as well. 2025-42.
Amending Chapter 840, Commissions and Fare Structure of the Codified Rules and Regulations of the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority to implement fare capping and open payments.
Oh. Gotcha. Usually we talk about that.
That's what I was going to ask.
To 2025-42. You've heard that. A motion and a second, please.
Move to approve, Sleesman.
Second, Elder.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes as well. I think that we need to do a roll call on 2025-39. So if we could revisit that and would ask a motion and a second for a roll call vote.
Mayor Kumar,
Yes.
Ms. Welch,
Yes.
Ms. Elder,
Yes.
Mayor Gallo,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Reverend Lucas, Ms. McPherson,
Yes.
Ms. Pachetti,
Yes.
Mr. Sleesman,
Yes.
Mayor Weiss.
Abstain.
All right, 2025-43.
So the motion still passes with 9 ayes and 1 abstention. Thank you. So back to 2042?
43.
43, I'm sorry. Permanent easement granted to the Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company, CEI, for the installation and maintenance of underground electric and communication cables.
You've heard that read. Comments or questions? If not, a motion and a second, please.
So moved, Sleesman.
Second, McPherson.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes as well. 2025-44.
Authorizing the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority to enter into a purchase and sale agreement for the purchase of real property necessary for the installation, operation, and maintenance of a new modular traction power station in an amount not to exceed $392,000. RTA Development Fund, Engineering and Project Development Department budget.
Okay, you've heard that. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved, Sleesman.
Second, McPherson.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 44 passes. 2025-45.
Authorizing a salary adjustment for Anthony A. Garofoli, Executive Director of Internal Audit.
Mayor Weiss, would you like to make some comments?
Yes, just a little bit of background. We do this once a year. The board will recall that, actually, I think it was my first year on the board when we were speaking of compensation, and Reverend Lucas thought it was a good idea, even though I suggested it. He said, "That's great, you can chair the committee." And so we've had a compensation committee ever since I first joined the board. And the background on this is that the board actually has 2 direct reports per the various governance documents. First is the CEO, general manager, and the second is the head of internal audit. For a variety of reasons, we take these sequentially. So the first one coming up is to the board is the adjustment in salary for Anthony Garofoli, Executive Director of Internal Audit. The committee is made up of 4 members of the board, including myself, Ms. Welch, Ms. Elder, and Ms. Pacetti, with input from the chair, Mr. Kumar, Mayor Kumar, as well as Ms. Birdsong Terry. The committee met on 3 different occasions over the last month and a half. We do an extensive review before making our recommendation. It's really a 3-part review. One is an internal review of evaluations done by Mr. Garofoli himself, a self-evaluation, as well as evaluations undertaken by the board with input from the CEO GM as well, as Mr. Garofoli has a dotted reporting line to Ms. Birdsong Terry as well. What you see in the recommendation for approval today is the results of that process. I should have mentioned there's also, in addition to the self-evaluations and other evaluations, we also look at the marketplace as well as internal equity as well. So throughout this process, we ended up with a conclusion and a recommendation that you see in this resolution. And so I think that covers it.
Great. Any comments from the board? Not, I think we've spoken about that. I'll make a motion to approve that. Is there a second?
Second.
All in
Mayor Weiss.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes. We'll move on to the Secretary Treasurer's Report. Raj, how many places at once can you be?
We talked about that. He's electing to add more steps.
Mayor Kumar, members of the board, good morning. My name is Raj Gautam. I am the Chief Financial Officer for the GCRTA and the Board Secretary Treasurer. Before I get into reviewing the economic conditions under which we are operating and reviewing the key metrics, I'm going to go back to Ms. Terry, who tasked me with some explanation from the fourth quarter QMR. And I think there was one particular item that we were looking at where reimbursed expenses were 163.9% higher than what we had budgeted. So just as FYI, largely, the reimbursed categories, the expenditures category is made up of alternative fuel credits that we receive for CNG, et cetera, and propane, preventive maintenance, and we've talked a great deal about how we are able to charge and reimburse the general fund from capital funds by and miscellaneous receipts, et cetera. So the biggest reason for the increase from the $1 million that we had budgeted for PM was that we had several old grants that needed closing, and we were able to use preventive maintenance categories and forced labor to close those grants out, resulting in preventive maintenance being roughly $7 million instead of the one that was budgeted. So that really is the main cause. The other categories were also a little different, but upwards of $6 million was due to the PM. So if you don't have any further questions on that one, I'll move into the normal Secretary Treasurer report. We'll start by looking at the economic conditions. Reviewing the annual inflation rate, which at the end of February stands at 2.9%. FOMC happens to be meeting today and tomorrow to determine the interest rates, which currently stand at 4.5%. Ridership through February 2025. Sorry about that. In February 2025, the year-to-date ridership was 0.2%. When compared to 2024 levels. On a year-to-date basis, we are 24% below the 2019, which is the pre-COVID numbers as indicated on the slide on the right-hand side. So we're still 1.2 million rides lower when compared to 2019, which was the first, the complete full year prior to COVID. Passenger fares, 14.1% below February 2024 numbers, and this is largely due to timing of UPass receipts, which we are in process of collecting in March, so we should see different results next month. We are 15.2% precisely below budget for the same reason. Compared to pre-COVID numbers on the right-hand side, we are 1.4 million lower, or roughly 25%. Typically, sales tax receipts come into GCRTA between the 15th and the 20th of the month. We do not have the March cash receipts available as of yet. These are February amounts that we have previously discussed, but I'll review them very, very quickly. And a note also before I get into the numbers that early in 2025, the Ohio Department of Taxation readjusted the categories that make up the base of the sales tax. There was some consolidation and modifications, et cetera. So as a reference, in 2024, there were 23 categories. They have been reduced to 22 categories in 25. Also, as a reminder, there is a 3-month lag in revenue. So when we are looking at February collections, they are really related to the economic activity that took place back in November 2024. So February 25 receipts were 2% lower when compared to February 2024. On a year-to-date basis, we are 0.9% lower than the 2 months of 2024. For February, 14 out of 22 categories were positive. Online sales were 1.4% higher. Motor vehicles and watercraft was 0.1% higher. State and regular and statewide sales were 0.1% down. Selected data, this is just a summary of information that is included in your monthly package. We're looking at total outstanding debt as of the end of December 31st of $22.3 million. Average investment yield on a year-to-date basis through February is 4.07%. Cash and investments stand in total at $361.1 million, of which $27.5 million is an unrestricted or the general fund, which meets the 1-month policy that we have from the board. With that, I would be happy to take any questions.
Mayor Weiss.
Just one, Raj, on the, if you recall, what we budgeted for investment income for 2025? Interest?
I don't have the budget book, and I don't have the number.
That's fine. I was just curious.
Okay, we don't have that at our fingertips, but we'll get that information to you.
I sprung it on
I think
you.
once again, we were probably conservative, as we normally are. 4% is a little better than what we may have projected. But then we were also evaluating a possible decline in rates as inflation was trending a different way. But we'll update you at a later time.
That was my recollection.
For the general fund, okay, thank you, Flance. For the general fund investment income, we budgeted at $1 million for 2025.
And does it show the percent that came up with that number? The interest rate, average interest rate?
Let me see if we have the...
That's all right, Raj. We can talk offline.
The rate that we estimated. I don't have that in my fingertips.
Yeah,
we'll get that to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Anyone else? Okay, if not, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Next, the
Ms.
General
Terry?
Manager's Report. India Birdsong Terry.
All right, hello again. I believe, your final report, formal report at least. I'll be giving you an update on the last month of information and activities that we have going on. And again, this is the annual meeting, so we have a little bit of a fun video for you at the end to be able to explain what we have been doing as well. Wanted to be able to start off by saying thank you again for the service of Mayor Anthony Biassiata. He is currently the mayor of Seven Hills. As you will recognize, he is not up here on the dais. He has completed his term here at RTA. And again, we just appreciate him. You can see the fun photo up there with the team and also the board to be able to celebrate the service that he gave to us. And we are also welcoming Mayor Marie Gallo out of Parma Heights. All right, also a little bit of good news. The GFOA, otherwise known as the Government Finance Officers Association, bestowed upon the finance team, the accounting team to be specific, here under Raj's charge, and John Taher, who is also sitting directly behind Raj, the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting. This is not the first time they have received this award. We appreciate the achievement and also the knowledge that goes into fine accounting. This is for the fiscal year 2023. The notification was given about a few weeks ago, so we're not behind the times. This is just the way that we report here in the United States. But we appreciate the reporting and the acumen and the attention to detail that goes into it. John, I don't know if you had any words that you'd like to say on behalf of your team. Got to embarrass you a little bit?
Not at this time, but I'd just like to thank my team for helping us get through this audit.
Said very humbly, and I'll just take this moment of moderator privilege. John is also the king of the St. Patty's Day Parade. And yesterday, that's an informal term that I have bestowed upon him. He's had that position for how many years now, John?
I'm the executive director for 2 years of a 3-year term. So this is 2 years down, 1 to go.
So he says today. He's done a great job, and as you all probably know, that's one of our highest, if not the highest, ridership day historically for RTA. And yesterday, everybody was in green, really enjoying the festivities, a full crowd outside and down through the downtown area. Doc and his team were really in that area of the boardroom. We had the partition and really being able to monitor and watch the service as well. So Transit Police, shout out to them. They did a great job of being able to monitor, in the operations division, especially Tower City team did a fantastic job. Natoya was running back and forth, making sure that everybody was where they were supposed to be. And we had a great time. So thank you very much, John, for your efforts and that. We appreciate it. All right. Excuse me. This goes in chronological order, so if it seems to skip around a little bit, it's because of the dates. On March 1st, I always like to let you know where I am. If I am representing RTA, whether it's on a weekend, nighttime, morning, or afternoon. On a Saturday on March 1st, I was able to participate at Case Western Reserve University. They had an annual conference. It was their second annual, named Protecting Your Crown. It was aimed toward Black women leaders in Cleveland, and not just leaders in their professional lives, but also in their home lives. To be able to talk about work-life balance, of which I do not have the answer, but also thinking about how do you remain your authentic self and bring that authentic self to work. And sometimes those rooms where you may be the only, if not one of the few folks of color in the room. These were for non-traditional roles. A lot of these women were able to talk through their experiences and really just have a nice weekend of camaraderie. I was able to be the moderator. So I did not attend the entire conference. However, I was able to be able to moderate the panel that you see up there. There were some very influential women on that panel. And really, I was given the opportunity to bring things out of them, almost Oprah-like. I even had someone serenade the crowd, so I think I did my job pretty well. And it was really a great opportunity. So kudos to Case Western Reserve for being able to recognize the need to have that conversation out loud. Also, as I mentioned, we appreciate Mayor Gallo. Again, chronological order. So we see her here. She's getting used to the flow of things. Mayor Gallo, we appreciate you and thank you for serving on the board. All right, so superstar to my left, we have Doc Caver, so otherwise known as Flonse Caver, who is there providing Ohio Senate Transportation, thank you, Senate testimony. This was a testimony, if you will remember, last month you saw my face in that same slide, providing testimony in Columbus. It is a very encouraging effort on both sides of the aisle, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. But it's nice to know that we as an agency are asked back. So we were asked back to come back the following next couple of weeks to be able to provide testimony. We wanted to make sure that we provided the best opportunity. Dr. Caver was able to provide that and did a fantastic job, really being able to reiterate what our need was through the transportation budget. There are a lot of pressure points when you are sitting in that seat or standing at that dais because you do not know what questions you will be asked. I appreciate Dr. Caver and his willingness to travel and to pinch hit. And really, it's not a pinch hit, it's a team effort. So we definitely work through these things together. A lot of times I am told that my management style is flat. I believe that that is the most successful so that we can pinch hit at any time and really serve as subject matter experts no matter who hits that dais. So I will ask Dr. Caver if you have any comments on your experience. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, CEO Terry, President Kumar. Appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of our agency in support of a request by our industry for $80 million in general GRF funds from the state for transit agencies, and then another $15 million for workforce. These funds are important to communities throughout the state and help us to explain to legislators the importance of mobility. Two of the themes that I was able to speak from was first, mobility is freedom. In many places in our state, individuals don't have mobility and they're stuck in their homes, can't get to things in their communities, can't get to hospital, school, work, and the like. And then transportation is economic development, and the work that we do here and that in many of the communities throughout the state are catalytic to the development of those regions. And so it was great to have an opportunity to speak to our state legislators on those topics. Thank you, Ms. Terry.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate you. We had great kudos for Doc from several of our legislators. We are looking to be in good shape, so we're crossing our fingers with bated breath that those dollars will come through. All right, also letting you know where I am, March 6th. I had an opportunity to participate in a podcast. Now, this is a series through iHeartMedia, so this is a fun slide. CEOs you should know, and that's the exact way that they say it. CEOs you should know, and they really take CEOs from across the region in all different disciplines. RTA was featured in this particular one. It has not been published yet. It's on the docket, so I would imagine within the next few weeks in the spring, it'll be coming out. Bob Fleeg, our PIO, will make sure to let you know the details of that. But it was a great opportunity to really talk with iHeart, Keith Hotchkiss, about what kind of makes RTA tick and what kind of management style has worked best since COVID. It was a great opportunity, spent a few minutes there, and hopefully the podcast will do you proud. It should be coming out relatively soon. Also, on a more serious note, we had 14 new transit police officers and their families in this very room on March 7th. We had, and that's a typo there, Chief Jones, not deputy. We had both of them there. We had Deputy Mike Gettings and Chief Jones administered the new police families and the police officers that will be joining our ranks. They took their oath. We had participation from several of our board members. Lauren Welch, we appreciate you. Mayor Kumar, we appreciate you for supporting in person and being able to really extend a hearty thanks to these men and women who put their life on the line every day. It's great to be able to talk about doing the job, but it's unbelievable to see it in motion. So being able to see the emotion on the families' faces and just the pride that goes into those folks that are serving our community was a great thing to see. So congratulations to them. Can't quite see behind the pole. I believe that we've got Chief there. You can't hide if you have a couple of thoughts. Go ahead.
Thank you for putting me on the spot again. I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped make that event come together. I also want to brag and pat ourselves on the back because our police department, unlike other police departments throughout the country that are shrinking, ours is actually growing. We are almost at full staff, and that is due to the efforts of our men and women who are out there every day, our marketing team, our leadership at TP, and our leadership here at GCRTA. So I am eternally grateful that we have such a great, diverse group of men and women who joined our ranks and have about 50 more in the pipeline who are looking to join. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate that. That is my job, to embarrass you on a daily basis. I try my best. These are great opportunities to be able to mention that the recruitment team is doing a great job, and the police force is doing a fantastic job explaining the benefits of working at RTA, and it is proving worth its salt. Also wanted to, again, say thank you to Teresa Barrage. She was the woman behind a lot of the organizational effort that went into putting these meetings on. And as you can see, it's a lot of work. So we appreciate her and wish her well in her new assignment at the county. All right, so we got a little bit of a fun video for you. I've got 2 of them. Today is Transit Employee Appreciation Day on the national scale. It is absolutely an important day to make sure that you say hello to your operator and those folks that are making the wheels go, whether it's a mechanic you run to, whether it's a ticket taker, whether it's a booth attendant, whoever it is, a transit officer. Make sure you say hello, an administrator, and make them feel wanted and appreciated. We do have a video for you. No, it's not just me. It's the entire team. I am the voiceover. That's why you see my face. And this is the annual report. There is a digital version. Shout out to Natoya Walker-Minor and her marketing team that put a lot of the effort into this, along with Brokaw, that is across the street. They are our contractor that you approved. So this is a great opportunity to see their work in motion. There is a full-on report, but this is a teaser video, and then we'll be playing a thank you video, appreciation video for the entire RTA. All right, Charles.
Hello, I'm India Birdsong Terry, CEO and General Manager for the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority. And I'm excited to inform you that the Greater Cleveland RTA is 50 years old. At GCRTA, 50 years is a milestone we take pride in because it speaks to the power of connections. We know that every connection we make creates a ripple effect throughout our communities, keeping us moving, growing, and thriving. And in 2024, the power of connections was stronger than ever, with people all over the country joining us to witness once-in-a-lifetime experiences, game-changing excitement, legendary performances, and much more. And throughout it all, GCRTA was there, making connections and adjustments to fit the needs of our communities. We leveraged strong partnerships to provide free rides to voters. We worked with our most beloved institutions to help fuel our local art community. And we continue to be a reliable rideshare for thousands every single day to work, school, healthcare, entertainment, and more. It was a busy year, but we never lost sight of the road ahead, developing innovative plans and implementing new technology to make our service even better, safer, and more efficient. I invite you to join us in keeping these 50 years of momentum going strong, because we can't do it without you. That's the power of connections.
All right, so that's the annual report teaser video. There is a full-on document that we'll be able to share at a later date coming soon. And then we've got one more for you to say thank you again on Transit Appreciation Day.
Thank you for your early mornings and your late nights, and all you do to serve and connect the greater Cleveland community.
Thank you.
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 Your hard work and dedication is admired by everyone here at GCRTA.
Thank you, GCRTA, for getting me around the city.
For taking me to Shaker.
For getting us to the Monster Game.
For getting me to my destinations. For taking me to all the ethnic markets.
For getting me to work.
Thank you for getting me everywhere.
Thank you, GCRTA.
From me to you, thank you for everything you do.
All right. So that brings us to the end of my presentation, unless you have any questions.
Questions from the board?
I don't have a question, but just a comment. I just, by pure coincidence, happened to be taking the train back from the airport yesterday. And so I got to see all the excitement that was going on, particularly as we got to Tower City. But what I was really amazed at was by the staff. There were a tremendous number of staff, our transit police, and others, and just terrific job. People were welcoming people into the center city, and it was great. So congrats to everybody who was participating. I couldn't get to everyone to say thank you because there were a lot of people.
Thank you so much. Under President's Report, just a reminder that Raj is going to continue his financial overview that we started at the board retreat prior to the meeting on Tuesday, April 1st. I think that's at 8:30, Raj, and meeting invitation just went out in the last day or so. So mark that on their calendars. And then here, I'm heading out on vacation tomorrow, but soon I think we'll pull together the board governance committee and have a discussion and how we're going to continue to work with management in upcoming year. So that concludes that report. Do we have any old business? Any new business?
Mayor Kumar, I can provide a little bit more clarity to answer Mayor Weiss's question about the interest rates.
Okay, sure.
So just a kind of a process information. When we start developing the budget, we're obviously in the August-September timeframe. At that time, interest rates were hovering around 4.5%, but there was enough talk that they were going to be declining in the near future. So the approach that we had taken was to look at the amount of investment earnings in the 3 previous years and the interest rates and computed an average that turned out to be close to about 2.5%. So that's what the budgeted amount is. So sorry about that senior moment when I was up at the podium.
Thank you, Raj. Appreciate it.
Okay, if no other new business, we'll move on. Just an announcement, the next regular board meeting is scheduled for April 15th, 2025, here in the boardroom of the Authority, the Root McBride Building on 1240 West 6th Street. And it'll be live streamed on the RTA's board page on their site. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second, Mayor Weiss.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.